Hi, Erik back, a naturopath from New Zealand. Thanks for coming back. I made a few videos on heavy metal detoxification. Let's talk a bit more about that today, because I got a question here. Dr. Erik, how do I detox heavy metals in my body? Can Kizida Remove do this? Is Epsom salts any good for heavy metal detox or cleansing? Well, as you're aware, I don't see people anymore, but I saw people for a long time, and I did lots of different things with lots of different people. Not in a bad way, I mean in a good way, all right? Helping people out with all sorts of conditions, but also getting involved in many different types of protocols, and also learning from other practitioners, different methods. As I've mentioned before, many people in the medical field, whether it's in natural medicine, okay, or conventional Western medicine, will specialize in certain areas of their practice. Some people are really good at certain types of things. But remember, the danger is if you go to someone who specializes in one thing, they've got these things called blinkers, haven't they, sometimes? All right? So let me just put these blinkers on here right now, okay? So I'm just looking straight ahead at you, and all I'm looking at is heavy metal, but I'm forgetting there's actually stuff over here, like, you know, Lyme disease, or okay, Epstein-Barr virus, or it could be a Pseudomonas infection, or it could be yeast over here, or okay, it could be anything. It could be pharmaceutical drug reactions here, but all I'm looking for is this. I've got this tunnel in front of my face, and at the end of the tunnel there's this big sign that flashes heavy metal, so that's all I'm focused on. So if all you're focused on is heavy metal, then every single problem will be a heavy metal problem that patient's got. Don't fall for those practitioners, okay? Because there are plenty out there that try and push you through their protocol. No matter what you've got that problem. I've met a Lyme doctor in the States like that. Every single patient that went to this guy had Lyme disease, you know. Within 5 minutes it was determined the patient had Lyme disease. So you need to be careful with people with these spiels, okay, that make these scripts up and spiels, almost like they're actors. So just be careful, because they are out there. I'm not saying all doctors are like that, but I'm saying there are plenty out there that know how to take people to the cleaners with these spiels and these tunnel vision things. So, and heavy metal falls into one of those long tunnels, right? And the tunnel for some people could be $100. The tunnel for other people could be $20,000. It depends on how long the spiel goes for, all right? So this is what you do. If you've got a heavy metal problem, or you believe you've got a heavy metal problem, the first thing you want to do is get some testing done, all right? Testing. Now, there are many ways you can get tested for heavy metals. Hair analysis is a pretty darn good way of testing hair, even though it's discredited by a lot of people. It's certainly a valid process of determining if there's metals in the body, because hair's an excretory tissue. It comes out of the body, and it takes out of it what was in the bloodstream at the time when it was growing, because the follicle's bathed in blood, the hair follicle. So if there was mercury in the bloodstream at the time, if there was whatever, okay, it will be trapped in that hair shaft, and it will come out as excretory, and it can be determined through proper analysis, laboratory analysis. So let's say you really believe you've got heavy metal. You went to a guy or a girl or whoever you saw, and they said, you've got a heavy metal problem, we need to work on it. Do the test, okay? Always get a test done before you start throwing cash around, all right? Now, many times I've had patients come to me that had spent a lot of time and a lot of money, an awful lot of time and money, getting cleansed from metal, but when I looked, they had no testing done, or the testing was laughable. You know, ABC Labs, or some stupid report from some backyard paper mill lab. And if you don't know what paper mill labs are, these are fake labs that basically send out reports to people, or reports that are basically BS. They're not really reports at all, they're just paper generated crap. Those labs exist, okay? I know that because I've seen these reports, and I've talked to people who've been to these labs. So be really careful, because it's simple to set up a lab, all right? Only work with an authorized laboratory like Doctor's Data or Genova Diagnostics. But if you don't get testing done before, you know, you go through heavy metal cleanse, you're absolutely bonkers in my opinion. It's crazy. It's no different from taking your car to a garage, and the guy hears it coming and says, I know exactly what's wrong with your car. It's going to cost $9,000. I can hear it. Don't need to do a test. I know what's wrong with that motor. I'll fix it for you in a week. Just give me $9 grand, I'll fix it. That's a bit like the paper mill, okay? Be careful, that situation, okay? It's BS. There's a lot of BS in this industry, I'll tell you now. So get that test done, all right? Sorry to say that, but that's the reality of it. So the hair analysis can be done through back of the head, where it should be from ear to hair, small samples, or it could also be a pubic hair test. Now, a pubic hair test is probably better, okay, because pubic hair doesn't get cut every 6 to 8 weeks, not generally. It concentrates the toxins quite well, and it's a great way to determine if the person's got a problem. The other thing for the skeptical people like me, super skeptics, get a hair test done by a lab, a reputable lab, and it comes back high, for example. Think, wow, okay, now I'll get a pubic hair test done by this lab, another reputable lab. If they both come back high, well, you're pretty mad if you make assumptions that you are clear of heavy metal, aren't you? So the hair is one way. The second way is provocation testing. Okay, you take a substance. It could be oral, or it could be intravenous. It could be DMSA from Thorn Research, for example. This sulfur capsule that can make you pretty sick and gassy. I don't even know if they still make it or sell it anymore. But you would take these capsules, and then the urine would be collected thereafter to see what you're spilling out. Or you can do what I did, an intravenous provocation with DMPS. Now I can tell you now, you give me 10 people, I'll provocate them all, and they're all going to dump metal, all of 10. All right. Some will dump it in a large chunk, some will dump it in a small chunk. Dr. David Quigg from Doctor's Data. I've had many discussions with Dr. Quigg, one of the world's foremost experts in heavy metal toxicology, who said, Eric, there's no rhyme or reason on how the body dumps metals, or in what quantity and dumps it in relation to the total toxic representation the patient has. Now, to say that in English, we haven't got a flipping clue really how much people are holding in their total body, or how much they're dumping at the time of the test. Meaning, you can have a major heavy metal burden and only dump small amounts, giving the practitioner the feeling there's only a little bit of metal there. On the flip side of the coin, you can be a person with a minor heavy metal problem but dump a large amount, making the clinician think this person's really loaded in heavy metal. I've seen both scenarios, all right? Detoxification is only required if a person is not feeling well. You don't get a healthy person and detox them, in my opinion. I think it's a load of crap to do that, okay? It's just not really warranted. If someone like 60-year-old guy like me is in good health, why would the guy want to spend, 10 grand and 3 months going through detoxing when he's already feeling pretty good? He's not sick, he's got no pain, he's got tons of energy, but many people get sucked into these protocols, okay? So be careful. Testing up front. Very, very, very important to get testing done up front. And the other smart thing about testing I didn't tell you is it gives you an indication as you're going through the protocol on how your burden is dropping off or increasing. Because many people, as they're going through a metal cleanse, well, remember I said dump, dump, dump. Sometimes they can dump a large amount, sometimes a small amount, but then as time goes by and the detox is stopped, they check 6 months or a year down the track, there should be a major difference between test A, which was done, say, in 2018, and test B, which was done, say, in 2019. Should be a big shift. All right. Then again, that gives you confidence knowing that you're going through a proper cleansing protocol. But make sure you work with the right people. All right. So the question was, Epsom salts. Yeah, magnesium sulfate does work for some people, but it makes other people sick. It certainly makes you feel really good having Epsom salts bath, but whether it really pulls metal out of the body, I don't know. I think the best advice I can give people regarding this is the consumption of water, and also consumption of plenty of vegetables and fruits, and just a healthy diet in general. Because the body, if the liver and the kidneys are, given plenty of breathing space, meaning not loads of alcohol, not loads of fatty, crappy foods, they're going to clean the body up, okay? The body has not developed sophisticated mechanisms to get rid of neurotoxins like Novichok, okay, that the Russians developed, for example. Well, we know you're going to be dead if you have that stuff, but it has got very good different detoxification pathways to clean most crap out of the body, providing you don't keep every day dumping it back in as you're getting it out. All right, that's the big one, and that's what a lot of people want to do, is keep filling up the bucket with crap and then dumping it out the following year. It's not a great idea, especially as you get older. So where was I? What was I talking about? Heavy metal, wasn't it? Think before you do something. Work with a reputable lab. Watch out for those one-trick ponies with the tunnel vision we spoke about, okay? If you walk in an office like that, you need to walk out, because what you may have may not be heavy metal at all. It could be something entirely different. All right? That's what I wanted to say. Thanks for the question.